All right, today we are digging into the life of one of history's most brilliant and, seriously misunderstood inventors, Nikola Tesla. I mean, this is a guy whose ideas literally power our world, but his own story? It's still this fascinating puzzle.
So that brings up a really interesting challenge, right? How do you take a figure who's this complex? I mean, he was a visionary and eccentric, the guy who went head-to-head with Thomas Edison, and tell his story in a way that, well, that actually clicks for a new generation?
Well, the answer, and this might surprise you, comes from a children's book. Yeah, this whole explainer is based on A Life Electric, which just does a beautiful job of boiling down Tesla's life to its most powerful, most inspiring parts. So, okay, let's get into it.
First up, let's talk about why this book is such a great way to get to know this guy.
What it does so well is present Tesla in a way that is simple, but not, simplistic. It's really enlightening. It shines a light on his incredible work. And it's also just kind. It shows you the real, compassionate person behind the legendary inventor.
Okay, so let's see how the book actually tells this story starting right from the very beginning of his amazing life.
Seriously, you couldn't write a better opening scene. Tesla was born during a lightning storm. Talk about a sign of things to come, right? And his curiosity, it got sparked by something so simple, just petting his cat and seeing those little static shocks fly. But maybe the craziest part is that the idea for his most game-changing invention, it didn't hit him in some fancy lab. Nope, it came to him while he was just sitting in a park reading poetry. And that one idea, the AC induction motor, is what changed everything. I mean, this isn't just some old, dusty invention. It's the invisible force that's powering the lights in your room right now, the thing that charges your phone. It's the backbone of the entire electrical grid we all rely on every single day. And it all started with an idea that came from a poem. How cool is that? But of course, an idea this revolutionary wasn't going to be accepted without a fight. In fact, it kicked off one of the biggest technological showdowns in history. So, here's the matchup. In one corner, you have the world-famous Thomas Edison, and he is all in on direct current, or DC. And in the other corner, you have our guy, Nikola Tesla, who is convinced that alternating current, AC, is way more efficient for sending power over long distances. It was a classic David and Goliath battle, the established giant versus the brilliant newcomer. Now, Tesla wasn't in this fight alone. He needed a backer, and he found a really important one in George Westinghouse. He was a sharp businessman who totally got what Tesla was trying to do, and more importantly, he had the money and the influence to actually help him take on a giant like Edison.
And this whole rivalry, it all came to a head in one single crucial year, 1893.
This was it, the main event. Tesla and Westinghouse landed the contract to light up the entire Chicago World's Fair. And when they flipped that switch, they didn't just turn on a few light bulbs. They lit up a whole city of light, all running on AC power. It was the ultimate mic drop, proving to the entire world that their system was not only superior, but safe.
After that spectacular show, the public had a new name for him. He wasn't just some inventor anymore. He was the Wizard of Electricity. And just like that, the war of currents was basically over. Tesla had won.
Okay, so we know about the genius inventor, the wizard. But what about the man himself? Who was Nikola Tesla, the person? Well, this is where the book really shines, because it paints a very human picture of him.
We see a man who just had this incredible perseverance, right? But also this really deep compassion, especially for animals. But what I like is that the book doesn't gloss over the tough stuff. It talks about his, let's call them unique habits, his eccentricities, and the very real money problems that he faced later in life. You get the whole person, not just the myth.
And this one little story, I think, just says it all. In his later years, when he was often alone and didn't have much money, he became known for caring for the pigeons in New York City. It's this beautiful, kind of sad image that shows a really gentle, compassionate side to him that you just don't hear about when people talk about his epic inventions.
So, let's step back for a second. Why does this story matter so much? Why is it so important that we keep telling it?
Well, for one, his story is this incredible lesson in innovation and in just plain old perseverance when the odds are stacked against you. It really shows you how one person's ideas can literally reshape the world. And maybe most importantly, it's a reminder that we have to look out for and support those brilliant, maybe a little weird, figures who might otherwise get forgotten by history.
And the reason the book we're talking about works so well is just how beautifully it's put together. The writing is super clear and easy to follow, and the illustrations, wow.
They're by Julius Sarda, and they're just stunning. They have this magical kind of folktale vibe that just brings the whole story to life. And here's a really cool little detail. The author, Azadeh Westergaard, her father was actually an electrical engineer. So you can kind of feel that this story was personal for her. It really feels like that personal passion is what drove her to share Tesla's life with a whole new generation.
Of course, this is just the beginning. If we've managed to spark your interest, this here is a great list of other books you can check out to go even deeper into the incredible life and mind of Nikola Tesla.
Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. For decades, Tesla's story was basically lost to history. It just makes you wonder, who else is out there? Whose brilliant story is just waiting for someone to find it and tell it to the world?